Welcome to the Los Culeros podcast, where the arrows fly straight and the conversations stay real. We're your hosts, Jose Jara and Josh Peña. We're just a couple of everyday guys with a growing love for the archery, the outdoors, and the journey that comes with both. By no means are we pros or veterans, but we're all in. Whether you're new to the bow or have years under your belt, you're welcome here. This podcast is all about sharing stories, learning from guests, and building a community around the sport we've grown to love. So grab your bow, lace up your boots, and join us as we dive into archery, hunting, and life, one shot at a time. All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Los Cool Arrows podcast. Got Josh and Chewy with us.
What's up?
We'll do some proper introductions today. So,
some proper.
Josh
use
is
my full government name or what?
Yeah, Josh,
Here we go.
Our favorite Asian.
Yeah, say it, motherfucker.
And then we got Chewy.
The
Chewy's-
noob.
The lube?
The noob.
You're choosing your own name. You're the lube. All right.
Yeah.
That's why you're like hard to handle, huh?
Yeah. Always slippery. Getting out of a sticky situation there.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, damn it.
So I thought I'd have you guys on and do an episode or have a conversation about how do you approach somebody that is anti-hunting or doesn't share your same point of view when it comes to the outdoors. We've all ran into those kind of people where you're, doesn't matter where it is at the grocery store or dinner table or, friends and family, once they find out that you hunt and, the first thing that comes out of their mouth when they don't agree with your point of view is like, how could you do that to that poor animal?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah.
kind of trying to, how do you defend hunting without getting defensive? Because that's part of the problem. Speaking of like hunters and outdoors people, they're pretty passionate about what they do, and it's hard not to get defensive and, try to put them in their place. And when you start to do that, it kind of feels like you don't get through to them and you want to, blame them. But at the same time, it's the way that we talk to them and the way they talk to us.
Yeah.
It gets kind of
we have our
confusing.
back up against the wall a lot of times when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, because not only do we have to defend why we do it,
Mhm.
and then the conservation of it all and where the fees go and the money comes from and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you also have to defend yourself against the bad image of people out there just fucking poaching and doing stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lot like law enforcement nowadays. You know what I mean? Just fucking people hate cops for some reason because one cop fucked up or he did something and now all cops are bad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not necessarily true.
I couldn't tell you the amount of times that some people know I hunt and where they'll show me a video of somebody doing something, like a new report will come out and they'll show like a deer with an arrow in it walking the neighborhood. And it's like,
I
whoa,
saw
you
that
see
one on
that? You see
TikTok.
that? Like that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it really is, man. I'm as mad as you are. Like, we don't do that,
Yeah.
Not
intentionally.
Yeah. And it's that type of stuff where it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, you're not going to sway me to not hunt. Like, I love hunting.
There's people that have been swayed, man, and great people, don't get me wrong, that saw a documentary on Netflix about fucking meat market and all that shit and completely went a whole separate route,
Yeah. That's where I
get away
start
with meat and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, try it out. If it's not for you, cool. No, I'm not saying try hunting out, but I'm saying like the meat wise, if you quit eating meat for a while, you see how that benefits you, and if not, you can always go back.
Yeah.
It's not,
That's what I always start with is like, look, like when I go out and hunt, I don't do it just for the joy of killing something. I'm not a psychopath. It's, it's another outlet for me. It's a lot of people talk about like having a sanctuary or going to church on Sundays, and it's hard not to believe in a higher power when you're out there in the woods and you see nature, and you see it for what it really is.
Yep.
And out there, it doesn't matter, how much you make a year, what kind of car you drive, all that stuff. It's everyone's equal out there, and so I always start with that, and I always tell them, hey, I just enjoy being out there, and then I tell them like, hey, the death that I provide that animal is a lot less suffering than the natural way that he passes, whether it be by old age and they're, mule deer or antelope or elk that have been out there for a long time where they don't have any molars anymore, or their joints are messed up, or they're so old and aggressive that they're away from the herd. They're isolated. It's not a good life for them. Or being eaten by coyotes or
torn
wolves,
apart by predators.
From the stomach up. Like, they don't kill them; they eat them.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that I always explain to them. Like, look, nature's cruel,
and not to put. I mean, some people might be into this shit, but just like they eat them from the ass usually.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
So like,
it's one of those things where it's
not as enjoyable as some people find it. It's
Right.
brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's brutal, and that's usually what, like wolves and shit and coyotes. They'll nip at the heels to drop them, and then and a lot of times they'll go for the gut or straight from the ass because it's an opening.
Yeah, and that's one thing is like, one thing that I try to explain to them is like, look, these animals don't kill first and then eat. They just go to eat. So, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you feel about suffering then? Like, is it the means that the animal dies, or is it, you don't want me killing it?
Yeah.
I
think they make it more personal with us, because like us as people, we grow old or we get sick and stuff, and nobody comes and takes us out because of it. Nobody's hunting us. So it's one of those things where I feel like the people that think that way are like that. Oh, they're protect them at all costs. Let them grow old, let them live their life out. Like, that's not the best thing for them.
No.
And we're animals too. That's what people forget. We're animals too. Just like we're predators. Just like fucking.
And it's one of those things too. Like, what I always start is, I'm like, do you eat meat? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, so you're okay with animals dying, just not doing the killing?
Yeah.
I was like, and the way that you kill to have your hamburger is different than the way I kill to have my hamburger. But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't justify it just because I didn't kill it. I'm going to pay somebody to package it and put it in a box and then, make it.
And if they actually looked at the way that's processed, they probably wouldn't eat what they're
probably
about,
not. And then they would.
Like, that's a lot more. Well, not a lot of it. I mean,
but just how they're being raised. Like, say a chicken farm, it's just, or a turkey farm or something. They're being raised and injected with like steroids or whatever to plump them up and get them as big as possible, as fast as possible.
Yeah. One of the things that always gets me is like how much admiration farmers get, because of the way that they cultivate and their whole culture and just kind of like their way of life. And it's very similar to hunters, because, most of these, like, especially whitetail, like, you see people that are successful or have property, they, plan for that deer, and then they'll let that deer grow and they'll get it to where they want it to be, and then they harvest it, and it's crazy because it's basically what it is. It's harvesting, a deer. There's a lot of preparation that goes behind. There's a lot of respect. And so it always offends me when somebody's like, oh my God, I can't believe you hunt. That's fucking brutal. You're barbarian. Like, what are you doing? And then it's like, dude, like, really? But
they don't realize that we actually respect the animal after you take them. Like, when I got my turkey, I told it, thank you. I was just like, because you feel bittersweet because the hunt's over. You took his life, but now it's not going to waste. You're going to eat. You're going to provide. Yeah. And a lot of people think, right quick, I need to talk about this. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
Go for it, man.
No,
can always
okay.
edit it out.
So we're talking. This kind of caught me off guard. Our topic today, because I told Hara, and then I don't know if he told you or not. I lost my dog this past week, and we're talking about animals, how we care about them, and realize that we're like, he's a dog, whatever, but he was my friend, and after I lost him, I was just like, man, like, you don't realize how much they affect you until that happens. He went on my turkey hunt, and I was just like, oh crap. And then you told me about I didn't know about the topic today, and now I'm just getting all hot. I'm like, oh man, because it's true. We care about animals. Like, it's not, we want to go out there and kill everything. We want to go out there, get meat. We're out there for the adventure, the hunt. And they don't realize that we do respect these animals.
Yeah.
You know, there's even people
we don't
that
take it lightly.
no,
and-
I mean, and you guys do it. Like there's people that are actually out there coyote hunting and making sure that the herd stays successful and that
Mhm.
you know they're not being taken advantage of or being decimated by something. You know, and another point too is like the people will show me the videos of an arrow and a deer or a bad shot, and the arrow just still being there, and this poor deer. You know, and I'm like, for every one video that you show me, I can show you 10 of a hunter saving a fawn or saving a deer
Mhm.
or, you know, cutting the racks off of 2 deer that are fighting. And they're, I mean, they're not there being cruel. Like they're making sure that it's good, you know, and the amount of time that we spend glassing these animals and admiring them, you know, from afar, it's crazy, dude. Like, you know, the feeling that you get, it's bittersweet to, you know, to your point, it's bittersweet, and it's almost like, you know, having that come into fruition is like an experience that most people don't ever experience,
Mhm.
you know, because it's just like all the preparation, all the hard work that goes into it, and then when it happens, it's just like a flush.
Yeah.
Your whole body is just like whoa, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, that's what I explain to people that ask me, because, you know, there's been a couple of people that are like, you're going hunting, and they look at me with like a weird look, and it's like, what? And it's like, oh, I can't believe you would do that to the poor little animal. And it's like, man, those animals are savages too at the same time, you know. Like I've seen some elk battles, and you're like, whoa, these things are beasts, you know.
And not only that is as far as like the human part of it, like if they overpopulate, there's not enough food for them, and then they're going to have more diseases. They're not going to be healthy. They're eventually, they could die out. They could just eradicate. And that's what they don't realize is we're kind of thinning the herd, but to have a stronger
ecosystem.
Yeah. Like you have
man,
too
it's
many
just-
coyotes and they're going to destroy everything.
Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about this. You know, she was like, the main point of conservation is to allow hunting, like to get it to a point where hunting is the main priority. I go, it's not. It's really not. It's the habitat. It's the thinning out the herd, like you said. If they grow too much, they're destructive. If there's not enough of them, that's hurtful. So they'll stop a hunt, or they make less tags or whatever. But you got to understand that. She was like, well, what about bears? Bears are limited.
Yep.
You know, you can only kill so many bears in a certain area, and then it's done. You know, and you have to check every day. You're out there
daily.
If they close,
And that's
it,
one
they
of the
close
things
it.
too that people don't understand when they talk about, when they don't understand the process of hunting and the amount of money that gets put into it, the amount of respect and the rules that we have to follow to harvest these animals is a lot more than you would think, you know. And to your point, like, you know, for a bear, you have to call daily and see
Every day.
if that's available.
Cougar
And
too.
you know, and that's our responsibility. We bear that burden to make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be, and to make sure that we're doing things the right way. Because just like you said about the bad cops, you know, it just takes one person to ruin the reputation of thousands. You know, so I don't take it lightly. I make sure everything's in order. We do everything the right way. You know, I wouldn't take a shot past my skill set, and you know, it's a lot of responsibility, and that's what some of these people don't understand, you know. So I guess what we're trying to do is provide you guys some ammunition, where you're gonna, if you get into an argument or a discussion about, you know, is hunting ethical and why we do it, you know.
Yeah,
and
man.
it's hard to have this conversation with some of these people, because some of these people are, you know, a little too passionate, and sometimes that kind of blurs their vision, and you catch some strays for some bad.
Have you guys seen that video of that lady interrupting those duck hunters? She's yelling at them,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and she's telling them, fuck off, and then she's yelling. She's like, dude, those aren't even ducks. They're fucking decoys.
Yeah.
They're just, but I think they handle it fairly well. But hunter harassment thing too, bro. It's like people, you know, stepping in and trying to save animals and stuff. I get it. You're passionate about it, but they're not your animals. They're not my animals.
Yeah.
They're just animals, you know. Maybe
And trust me, man, those guys can fend for themselves.
Well, they can.
You know,
Yeah.
they're smart.
I mean, you ever try to tackle me in my own house, bro? I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Well, but like that's what you're doing though. You're hunting them in their backyard, in their own property. I mean, they know all the ins and outs and how to get away and stuff. Like they're not helpless.
No.
Yeah, and then you get the ones, oh yeah, you just go out there and shoot them, and it's so easy. I'm like, have you ever gone out there? It is not easy.
It's not easy.
It looks
Some
easy
guys
on TV.
Yeah,
Sound like those 6.5 guys.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Don't start crying, fuckers.
No, not yet.
you know those elite guys, and you know,
there it is. I have a bear too.
Elite entitlement. It's called.
yeah, they're elite entitlement.
But no, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the biggest thing is to keep a level head, and when you have these discussions with people, because you know sometimes these people aren't educated or they don't know, you know, they see what's on TV and they see a couple of documentaries and they think they have it all figured out, you know, and they don't understand the amount of money and revenue that hunting and the outdoors provide. You know, that's one of the things that it's like, okay, you enjoy the outdoors, and you know we help preserve that. Like, when was the last time that you paid to be out there,
to be hiking, to do anything like that?
The hiking trails, state parks, you know, they have their fees and stuff, but 64%, I think it's roughly 64% of funding for habitat and, you know, outdoor activities and that kind of stuff. It comes from hunters and anglers, man, and donations too. But 64% of that, you stop hunting and fishing, take that shit away, and how good are your state parks gonna be? You know? I think it's like, I don't remember how many millions, dude. I think it's like, or billions actually. Nationally, it's billions of dollars that we provide for conservation. That's, you know, research on animals, relocation, you know, aiding, you name it, dude. Anything that has to do with the outside, you know, it's funded by us. You know, and it's just, it's unfortunate that people they have an opinion without being educated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it does make a tough conversation. I'm real careful in my job, you know, who I talk to. The majority of them are hunters. They'll have a couple of mounts or pictures or whatever. And, but there's some where, yeah, man, you don't mention that shit in their house because they get offended by everything. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But there is a way to do it, you know, to where both parties leave content. There's no real harsh arguments, but it's all in perspective, man. And like I was telling you guys before we hit record, there's people that'll listen to get the perspective and understand, try to understand. And then there's people that are just so damn set in their ways that no matter what you say, it doesn't justify it.
Yeah.
And those ones are probably the harder ones to deal with.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and it's just one of those things where it's just, you really have to pick your words wisely. And it's one of those things, that's what we said at the beginning of the podcast, is how do you you know, defend hunting without getting defensive? Because we're all guilty of it. You know, somebody will push our buttons or you know, talk shit in a sense, and it's like, dude, you have no idea what I go through to try to get this animal on the ground.
Yeah, and
you know?
it's funny with like the religious people, man. They say, well, they're God's creatures. Like, well, it's in the Bible to hunt. You know, I've been told some crazy shit, but yeah, I get it. You're passionate about your animals. I get it. But it's like, oh, I feed the deer. I feed. Yeah, you're not supposed to. You know, it's like, oh, those are my deer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And that creates a whole different problem, you know, because your neighbor might not be okay with that. Or next thing you know, the deer's coming into your property to feed, and there's a car coming on the highway or on a road, and that deer gets hit and it kills somebody or injures somebody.
Yeah, and
or
it's the whole freaking doe depredation hunt in Silver City. It's a knock and talk. What we got?
Yeah. Nothing. We're good.
Oh. The whole knock and talk thing, man. It's like, they don't like the deer eating all their rose bushes and shit. Okay, cool. We have a program where they'll come and eliminate some, and take them out. And then they're like, no, I don't want that happening here. Well, it's like, well, you got to pick something here.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy the amount of red tape that, you know, hunters and anglers have to go through, and borderline harassment, and sometimes legit harassment. Yeah. You know, to try to pursue these animals, and which is our given right. Yeah. You know, we pay the tags, we pay the the stamps, and we all get all that lined up, and then you go out there and there's people ruining your hunt because they don't agree with your views.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, man, this is where we're at.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's shitty, dude. It is shitty, and it hadn't happened to me until the last 2 years that I've been out there, and then I started seeing dumbass people doing dumbass shit.
Yeah.
We were in RJ's. I was going to my blind early in the morning. This fucking truck ended up being in front of me, and he would stop, and I'd rather wait. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go around him, and then he'd take off. It's just, man, what the fuck are we doing, guys? You know, it's just a pain in the ass. And then UTV parked next to my blind, and they're not hunting. You know what I mean? It's like, I know it's public land, but come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a law against harassing a hunter in a local.
Yeah, hunter harassment is yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, and then while I was up there, man, I mean, the game warden is a friend of mine, but he actually witnessed some of it and you know dealt with it accordingly, but yeah, there's been that time, and then this last time this guy was giving George and Hada some shit out there, just unnecessary stuff. And in that same area, there were some people that used to live out there, and oh, you can't be here. My family owns this property and all that shit. It's fucking state land. You know what I mean? The access to it is BLM, and well, it's state land leading to BLM. And he was in there throwing a fuss with this guy, and it's like, no, dude, he's wrong. But to avoid any kind of conflict, I think he vacated the area. But yeah, I had a talk with this cousin that actually ran it. I was like, hey, man, that's some fucking bullshit. Like, he's like, I'll get with them. And I told him, dude, I've always been respectful with you. I've asked for permission anytime I was going to cross your property or anything, or, you know, it's, that was uncalled for. And then he ended up, the whole damn spill went down with that family, but to say the least, I hope it was resolved and we don't have to deal with that shit no more. But it's shitty things, man. People overstepping their boundaries because, like you said, they don't agree with what you're doing, or only my family. I've been in places where it's state land and there's a fucking
no
sign,
hunting.
a sign on the gate, and those same people that gave him shit. No hunting, keep out. Like, it's state land. You can go in there if I want to. But it's just one of those things, man. Some people suck.
Yeah. You know what's cool too about, you know, on the other side of this is the amount of times that I've had a conversation with somebody and like changed their opinion on how it is. You know, we tell them like, hey, you know, when I go out there and we do this, like I practice all year. So when I do take a shot, the animal does not suffer. You know, we provide all this money for not just me, but every hunter, you know, has to pay a tag, has to pay a stamp. It's a lot of money that goes into making things better for everyone to enjoy. And you know, have you ever had elk or deer? No, I would never try it. And then getting them to try it, you know, and it's like, oh shit, like cool, man. And you know, somebody that has an open mind to that kind of stuff and tries it, you know, 9 times out of 10, you can have a conversation and they can tell you why they don't approve of it or why they don't like it, and you can tell them why, you know, that's either something that's complete myth or not correct, not accurate, and then you start to change their opinions on it. Doesn't mean that they're going to start hunting or they're going to be out there, you know, hiking and, you know, trying to put something down, but it makes them, you know, understand why we do it. And that's what I go into a conversation when it comes to, you know, trying to explain to them why I do it is just that, like, just, this is why I do it, man. You know, and it might not be why everyone does it, but this is why I do it. And they're like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. I'm like, yeah,
man. And it's like even like TV shows and stuff. Yeah, we get riled up and you hit the woos and hell yeah, and fucking is he down, that type of shit. But the first TV show that I saw a real depiction of respect for an animal was Beyond Rubicon. Yeah, you know, where they would harvest, they would track, get their animal, and the first thing they do when they get up there, put their hands on it, is they take their hats off and they pray. You know what I mean? That's like, that's real. You know what I mean? That's real shit. You know, and even the kids, bro, thank you, Lord, for this harvest and stuff, and they're doing their spill with their prayer, and it's like you don't see that on hunting channels no more.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it since.
Yeah.
But they all preach about God and this and that, but they were the first ones that I saw that actually put their hands on the animal and said a prayer over.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, and pretty cool to see that. And like I said, I mean, we can do more of that stuff, and I think even Ty does it.
Mm-hmm.
Respect for the animal and stuff. It's like it doesn't matter how big they are or how small they are or what it is. Just having that mutual respect. Yeah. Well, not mutual, because they don't respect you. So it's like they don't. They're just trying to.
Yeah, I got some pretty angry letters from one last year.
I saw my cousin get his ass whooped by a jackrabbit. Yeah, they're not all fucking. They're cute and stuff when they're sitting still, but when they're angry, they're fucking. Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Is like when they're like, "Oh, the poor defenseless animals." I was like, "Have you seen the people at Yellowstone getting trampled by elk
fucking
and deer?
Bison?
Bison."
Almost that time again, man. Yeah. Check out Good Bull Outdoors. He has plenty of videos. Yeah. But that's another thing too. Like tourists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Going out there and trying to get as close as possible to these animals and take pictures and shit. And then they get fucking mauled.
And then it's the animals.
Yeah. Then it's like, don't take down the animal. You hurt these people. Well, get them the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. These are wild animals.
Mm-hmm.
Even like wild horses are not nice.
No.
You know what I mean? They'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
But it's like, you don't go and try to ride them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's different groups of people, man.
Yeah.
What do they call them? The Darwin Award winners? Is that what they call them?
The what?
Darwin Award winners?
Yeah.
Oh,
Darwin.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just different, man. But like when I see a conversation escalating, it's like, all right, you don't want to be educated. You just want to speak your opinion. So I'm gonna shut this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of going about it, because you could sense somebody's reaction or the way they're gonna talk to you. You could give them a little info, and then if they're just so adamant on their point of view, like they don't want to listen to anything, it's like, oh, okay, well, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you have your opinion, I have mine.
I just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like that with a lot of things nowadays, man. I'm not as quick to be like, no, you're fucking wrong. It's like, I like having conversations with this dude, because we have some pretty deep conversations about just random shit, but it's like, it's never an argument. Yeah. It's just like, hey, check this out. Or, no, I saw this part, because my algorithm's different from his algorithm, and I don't see half the shit he sees.
Yeah.
And which is, hey, I saw this from this angle, and it's like, oh no, but it was like this, and this happened. And it's like, it's describing perspective over arguing. Like, no, you're fucking wrong because this and this and that. Like, no.
It's the same algorithm, but mine has subtitles. No, kidding. I'm kidding. No, but it is that.
Yours is in landscape mode.
Mine is too. That's the only way I can see it.
Oh yeah, natural.
No, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where it's just perspective, man, and it comes down to that. And sometimes like I catch myself trying to explain something to them, and like they're not dumb, so they just get defensive because like you think I'm stupid. It's like, I know what you mean, but I just don't agree with it. And it's like, oh shit, my bad. Yeah. You're not dumb. You just don't agree with my point of view, and I get that. I respect that. So I apologize for, not treating your intelligence to what it should be. And it's like, I get that, and it's one of those things where it's like, I have a hard time with that sometimes, because like what's common sense to me isn't common sense to somebody else. Right, and what's common sense to them isn't common sense to me. And that's where you get into like the real hardcore arguments where it's like, why don't you see it my way? And it's like, dude, what do you mean? You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. No, it's like trying to tell a cowboy how to tie his shoelaces. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that they should have learned a long time ago. And you're like, you're fucking stupid. Yeah. And they're like, you want to help me rope a cow? And it's like, I don't know how to do that shit. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong, man. That's what is it? If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's one of those things. Like, everybody's a genius in their own in their own way. But I don't know, man. It's like diffusing an argument has always been like a strong suit. You know what I mean? Of mine. So like when people are like just set in their ways or whatever, it's like you try to get into, okay, explain to me what your thought process is on this. You know what I mean? And just let them talk. You don't even have to freaking engage with them. Just It's kind of like have you seen what the fuck movie is it? Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where he's like, you don't have to say anything, just repeat what they say.
Yeah.
And they're just all about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, dude. Because it's like, oh, okay. So and then you just start asking questions about what they're talking about. You don't have to explain shit out of yourself. But they did their shit off their chest. You know what I mean? And escalate the situation stays de-escalated, and they don't get riled up, and they get to voice their opinion, and you don't even have to explain nothing to them because obviously they're not going to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Some
it's like,
people
oh.
just don't want to. They don't want to understand it, and then you have the people that are just set in their ways, and they're not going to change because change is different, and I don't accept change, and that's just it. Period.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just unfortunate because, you know, I see some people that I would think like you would really enjoy it, man, if you could go out there and go on a hunt, you know, with somebody that understands it and gets it. You would have so much fun, you know. And one of the things that, you know, talking about like Beyond Rubicon, Bo Hitch, watching his videos of like him putting, you know, client on something, and then him telling a backstory about, you know, why that client's there or what they're doing, and it's like it's life changing for some people, you know, and it's like to get to achieve that. A lot of us, you know, hunt for a long time and don't, you know, necessarily kill anything, but you're still a hunter. You're still out there.
Yeah.
And success isn't just, you know, getting an animal down. It's being out there and it's trying to make sure that everything is where it needs to be.
One of the things that I'll use to diffuse a conversation like that, man, is like I'll talk about the beauty that I've seen without the killing. I mean, because as a hunter and being out there all the time, I've witnessed shit that most people wouldn't even understand. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I've seen deer fight. You know, I've seen deer fight. I've seen fawns run around carelessly. You know, I've seen porcupines. People don't even know porcupines are here in New Mexico.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I've seen a little bit of everything. Bear cubs. It's cool, especially with those anti-hunters. To tell me, oh yeah, I just love being out there and stuff without the killing. So I tell you, I'm a hunter. Of course, they see the tattoos and stuff.
Yeah,
I am a hunter, but that's not primarily why I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know why I'm out there. It's peace for me. You know what I mean? It's just being in nature. You know what I mean? It's you see the world for what it actually is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a hippie way to say it, but they resonate with that. You know, so it's like, so I can sit down on a tree and glass up a deer and just watch them and learn how they move or why they do certain things and not be one with them, but actually watch them from afar. They have no idea I'm there, and just watch them be in their own element.
Yeah,
without even a thought. It's like, oh, I want to kill that.
It's a different experience, you know, seeing them in the wild and seeing them at the zoo. You know? And that's one of the things that I always talk about is like, when do you see nature? It's like, have you seen a polar bear or like at the zoo? It's like you didn't see a polar bear. That's not what a polar bear is.
No,
you know. And the same thing with like giraffe.
Might as well put a fucking Coke in his paw.
Yeah, you know, it's different, you know, and it's a whole different narrative also too. Like, you know, the polar bear isn't this sweet Coca-Cola drinking fluffy animal. It's out there murdering some shit.
Yeah,
you know, and it's crazy. But it's one of the things where it's like it's perspective, and a lot of people don't get it and won't get it. But it's fun to have those conversations with people that have an open mind and are receptive to it, even if you're not going to change their mind. But it's like, cool, man. At least I know, like, now why you do it, or you know, why you got into it.
And there's no actual person out there, bro, that doesn't kill something. You know, you might think you did,
intentional or not intentional.
Yeah, because even vegans, you know, like the we don't eat animal products. Yeah, but you kill a lot of shit for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So they don't realize that because
I'm glad there's been a couple of like popular TV shows. Like I think in Landman they talked about it, and I think Tyler Sheridan's.
I think he's gotten a lot of shit for that too.
You know, and Landman, they talk about it. What it takes to actually be, you know, negative carbon footprint, which everyone talks about. Like, you know, I'm solar and I'm this, and you know, EV and green. It's not yet. We're not there yet. You know, it still takes a lot of heavy machinery to mine the lithium, it still takes a lot of heavy machinery to transport it, to put it together, to lubricate it, to get it going. You know, all those EV cars have rubber. Rubber comes from oil. You know, some of the alloy comes from mining, and how do you get that? You get that with, you know, big heavy machinery that uses a lot of fuel. And it's the same thing on Yellowstone. They talked about it a little bit, where, you know, there's some anti hunting people on there, and, you know, he talks about, oh no, I think the lady was vegan or something, and he goes, you know, the amount of things that we have to clear and kill so you can grow what you eat is crazy. Like, you don't think about that, you know. And even like the people that are like anti-leather and they get like synthetic, it's like a lot of shit died so you can have that still. It's just
just so you can feel better.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you said, man, it's not the responsibility of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's plain simple as that. I mean, you can pay for your hamburger, or you can go.
You know what's crazy?
And know exactly where it came from and how it was processed, and you know, there's no chemicals in it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's more organic to do what we do than to go and buy it from a fucking grocery store.
And just, you know, one of the things too is like to think about, you know, the quality of meat that a hunter can put in his body and his family's body on the kitchen table, compared to what you go and buy at the grocery store. You know, it's some of that stuff's highly processed, and, you know, they inject dye in it to make it look a certain way. And a lot of people trip out when you actually have game meat and it doesn't look like the grocery store. It's like, what the hell? You eat that?
It looks
that's
clean.
Gross. It's like,
no.
What? No, your stuff looks gross.
Yeah. Or when they eat it, it's like it tastes weird. No, this is how it should taste.
Yeah.
Everything else is all over processed and everything. Like,
and it's crazy to, you know, you don't see or hear somebody that hunts and has a, you know, meat freezer of wild game complaining about not feeling good or you know, like being
okay.
You know, being out of shape is one thing, but like feeling better.
Yeah, I took the first jab, all right, but that second one is uncalled for.
But you know what I mean, though? Like, it's one of those things where, you know, the same amount of meat that you eat from game versus
you can tell right when you're cooking it, man. Like, if you throw a fucking pound of ground beef from the grocery store on there, how much oil comes out of that shit?
Yeah.
With game meat, you have to add a little bit of oil. You know what I mean? You don't have to, but there's no oils in it. You know, so there's a huge difference in it. It's cleaner. Way cleaner.
Definitely is.
But yeah, man, it's just those are hard conversations to have with certain people. And like I said, if they're leaning a certain way, the best thing to do is not to argue the fact of where our money goes to and all that stuff, but just get on their level, man, about the beauty of what an animal is actually, and to remind them that we're human beings, but we're animals.
Yeah. What my whole thing too is like the amount of red tape that we have to go through, and like, I mean, you say you're a hunter, and they just assume you're out there like Rambo, fucking slitting, fucking
I wish
slitting throats, and
I wish I could be out there with a
racks,
fucking Gatling gun or something, dude.
Yeah, right.
I'd probably miss still.
But it's one of those things, like the perspective
Yeah.
of the hunter is different. And then, you know, then you have those people that grew up watching Disney and, you know, seeing a bunch of the propaganda of like anti-hunting back in the day. You know, I'm glad some of that's kind of going away, but at the same time, you know, it's still something that you not have to like fight against, but it's something that people don't understand.
There's a certain era of Disney too, man. I think it was probably early 2000s that Disney changed to where they were more like freaking soft.
Yeah.
I was telling my kids, like, because they like Donald Duck.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, you know, Donald Duck is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I go, look at the old videos of him. He's a fucking dick. He's always angry and shit, causing problems. Like, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And then fucking Mickey Mouse used to get his ass whooped by Pete through the fucking peephole. I was like, yeah, those are the cartoons I grew up with. You know what I mean? Tom and Jerry, they used to get drunk and smoke cigars. But they don't do that no more.
Yeah.
They do it at different times, but
you see that Donald Duck when he's in an assembly line doing some Hitler stuff.
Yeah.
And he's all doing the like, whoa.
The fucking symbol and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different
whoa.
times, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it was a whole different world. Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I didn't know that wasn't a
those
kid's
were
show.
Gross.
Yeah,
I didn't know that wasn't a kid's show.
Yeah, that's
Pretty crazy.
definitely not a kid show.
You know, but even the Animaniacs, dude,
Mhm.
that was on Warner Brothers. They
Yeah.
had some fucking adult
Uh-huh.
jokes, you know. But it's like they don't do that no more. Donald Duck is a real nice, growing guy. He's friendly. Like, fuck, no, that dude was a dick. Let me show you the real him. But
yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's perspective, and it's one of those things where it's just like you have to kind of learn how to have these conversations with people, and you're gonna get roped into an argument here and there. You know, and just have to understand that it's not personal. I mean, at least the ones I've had weren't personal. Were like, you're an asshole. It was like, oh, I can't believe you hunt. That's gross.
yeah,
And it's like,
I don't think I've
you know?
ever had like a heated conversation about it. At all. I don't think ever. It would start leaning that way, and it's like, okay, let's redirect this.
Yeah.
And then it's
Change the
like
temperature.
the shiny keys. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, look over here.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, man, just bring it back to just watching the
Yeah.
animals, not interacting with them. But that's another thing
Mhm.
too. Like they think that caring for animals is interacting with them, you know. And I had this one customer that would feed the deer out of her hand.
Mhm.
Super cool to see,
Yeah.
but like you're hurting that animal.
Yeah.
You know,
Creating
because
a
you come over here looking
dependency.
for food, and when you're not here, with you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're right, the dependency, and
Yeah.
it's like you're doing more harm than good there.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's
A lot of people don't see it that way.
no.
And it's not even
everybody
the-
wants to be fucking Snow White.
Yeah, and it's
Mhm.
one of those things where it's not even like the feeding it out of your hand that's dangerous. It's the amount of distance they have to travel and the routine that it creates, and you put people in danger. You know, when you're like most houses aren't where they have deer. They're not in a neighborhood like we live in. It's
Mhm.
out there, and there's county roads, and there's not a whole lot of stoplights or stop signs. And if a deer crosses the road and it's at night trying to get to that house to get fed, and somebody hits that deer, it causes a lot more damage. And one of those things too, that's one of the things that I talk about is, oh, I can't believe you would do that to that poor animal. And I'm like, what about whenever they cause a car accident or, smash some garage doors or get into your trash can,
Mhm.
What then? Like who decides?
Oh, that bears a menace.
Yeah, who
Mhm.
decides if
Yeah.
that bears a menace or not? And It's
Yeah.
like, no, you guys created that situation, and now we
Yeah.
don't know how to handle it.
It's like the people in that neighborhood in Albuquerque, and like, oh, we need to stop hunting and stuff. Like, well, you shouldn't have built your fucking house there in the
Mhm.
first place.
Yeah.
I get it. You want to be on the mountains and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but this is part of the territory.
Mhm.
Now, if your property borders state land, someone's
Yeah.
gonna walk to that shit
Mhm.
eventually.
Yeah, yeah,
But that was that video you saw with
Mhm.
the arrow in the head, and it was in the ass.
yeah.
Just location and attention to detail, guys. Come on now, but yeah, that didn't have it, and the game and fish was notified, and they did,
Mhm.
take care of that
Removed
deer.
it and got it.
Yeah, they took
Yeah.
the arrow out and stuff. Deer's fine.
Yeah. Another thing too that people don't realize is, talking again about the red tape, is, they don't understand the concept of seasons. They don't understand the concept of, tag limits
Mhm.
and, like what you're allowed and not allowed to harvest. And it's like, we don't just go out there and willy nilly, well, I'm going to shoot this one and that
Mhm.
one and this and that. And
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of, red tape that we have to cut through to be able to be out there. And there's consequences for not following that red tape. And it's the same thing that happens in everyday life. There's
Yeah.
rules you have to follow.
Yeah,
And
man.
they don't understand that. And once you start explaining it to them, like how much money actually goes into it and what it does for the environment, what it does for, for the state parks and federal parks that they like to go to, it's like, oh shit,
Mhm.
I get it. So,
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of things too. Like even from people I know, like if you don't pay your child support and you
Mhm.
lose your license, you lose your hunting privileges with it.
Mhm.
If you're a felon, you're limited.
mm-hmm.
There's like, I don't know. There's a lot of not incentives, but there's rules you got to follow to be able to do this. So
Yeah.
it's a privilege more than
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
a
That's
it's a right.
definitely it.
It's
It's
a
it's
privilege.
definitely a privilege, and it also, it keeps people that hunt on the straight and narrow.
Well,
People
pun
that grew up
intended.
hunting, people that grew up in the outdoors, like they respect firearms, they
Mhm.
respect outdoors, they respect. There's a lot of respect, there. as opposed to somebody that, doesn't do that and that respect's not there, and it's just one of those things where it's like I respect a lot of the wildlife out there, all of the wildlife that's out there. And it doesn't mean I don't because I hunt it.
Yeah. I feel like you respect it more because you're out there and you're potentially taking their life.
Yeah.
And you're not just gonna take it. It weighs heavy on you when you do.
Yeah.
It's not something just.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I had a coworker that at another job I had. She just would not. You could talk about it. I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna go hunting and this and that, and why poor little thing and this and that, and I'm like, well, but she was one of those that no matter what, I was wrong, and even the gun debate stuff like that, I was just like, all right, cool, like let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But she never. I was just like, all right, cool. Like, I'll listen to you, but I ain't poking this bear.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to work together.
Yeah.
That make it awkward.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going down this road with you. You got to kind of pick your battles because there's some people that just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Don't want to. We're not going out there to use.
The only time I'd actually poke the bear, man, is if I stopped and try to de-escalate the situation. They want to fucking get riled up and start. Then I'll be like, all right, motherfucker, now you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I had a priest tell me, and this doesn't have anything to do with hunting, but just judgmental. I had a priest tell me that I just met him. I was doing an install in his house, and he goes, if you keep living the way you're living, you're gonna burn in a lake of fire. So he told me. I was like, what the fuck? I just
sure
introduced
didn't know you?
myself.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool, man. I hope they have free fishing. Who the fuck says that to somebody? Dude? I was like, I should have been offended, I guess, but I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you're a priest?
Yeah.
Or pastor or whatever?
Yeah.
And no knock on pastors, whatever. It's just weird to be judged like that. And I just met the guy.
Thy shall not judge.
Yeah. I mean, they're not supposed to, I guess. But
But sometimes they're like not whatever, but they're like the most judgmental. You go to church on Sunday, you're perfect, and then you meet them in real life.
It's one of those things that I talk about.
Different person.
I talk about with with people that are like uber religious, like super religious, and I always get a kick out of going to church, and then the same people that are in the pews that are that know all the prayers by heart, and they're the first ones to get up and help with the collections and help with the candles and all that stuff, and then you see them at Denny's and they're like, what the fuck do you mean my table's not ready and this is fucking bullshit? And it's like, dude, you just left the house of God and now you're in here. Acting crazy.
No God can see you, right?
And that's a crazy part. I always think about that, and I'm like, dude, all of us are full of tattoos and everything, but if we see somebody on the side of the road with the flat tire, I guarantee all of us are going to pull over and be like, hey, do you need some help? Let me help you out. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other people getting right out of church will just pass that car saying how good they are and not even try to stop. And that's why I start having issues. I'm just
man.
like,
that's why, I mean, I think it's more important to be a good person.
Yeah.
More important to be a good person than it is to
I had a Jehovah's, one of the people that stopped and knocked door to door, and they came and they knocked and they were, talking to me, and then they're like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm in construction. And they're like, oh, really? Do you do fences? And I was like, I do not. And she's like, oh, it's just because my neighbor, he's a fucking asshole, and he has a mess in his yard and I can't stand it. And I was like, yeah, you know what they say. And then she's like, what's that? I was like, love thy neighbor. And she's like,
gotcha.
Gotcha. No, and it wasn't even that, bitch. But we just had a good conversation. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's you get what you put out in this world. And if your mentality is to win every single argument or to prove your point over theirs, you're not going to get anywhere.
I think the second you're trying to prove your point, you lost the argument.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like that. Yeah.
Bad.
And that's what it is. Like when I have a discussion with somebody or when we have a debate about something, my intention isn't like I'm winning this regardless of who's right or wrong. It's just like, I want to hear what you have to say, man, because maybe my perspective is different than yours.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes to when it comes to these kind of conversations, is just trying to make sure that they understand your perspective and you understand theirs. If you can do that, And most of the times these don't escalate into anything more than that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be about hunting, man. It's literally about anything. Like, there's no reason to argue about it. It's hey, go into every discussion with the intent of learning something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like I said, if you didn't go into the intent where I'm going to school this fucking guy, and I'm going to teach him a lesson, like, no, you're just focused on winning. You're not actually listening to the other person. Yeah. So that discussion that you're having is pointless.
Yeah.
Ill intent doesn't get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, I mean, good conversation, boys.
Yeah, definitely, guys. We're still on the road to 100. So if you haven't subscribed, please do on YouTube and Spotify. We'll be raffling off a set of Easton 5.0s, which is a pretty good arrow to use for TAC or 3D hunting. They're the match grade, so they have the colors on them. We'll be doing the match grade field points for those as well. And then we'll be getting with the winner and having him pick his wraps and his veins, and we'll go ahead and do a full setup for him. Get your measurements and get all that stuff. Make sure you guys leave a comment, like and subscribe, share, and comment down below if you guys stuck around to the end. What are some of the conversations you've had with people, and have you been able to successfully, navigate that to where they kind of see your point of view?
Yeah, no, definitely. And then this airs on the 6th, so happy birthday to my boy.
Yep.
He's a big 2-0, so happy birthday to him. And then also Mondo, the Random Acts of Kindness.
Random Acts of Kindness
is going to end on the 7th. That's Saturday.
Yeah.
So if you guys are hearing this, hurry over to Instagram, get on the Bow Hitches page, and then enter your Random Act of Kindness there. There's not a whole lot of entries, so there's some good prizes that are.
Yeah, definitely.
The odds are pretty good about winning some prizes. So
not only do you get to feel good about doing something nice for somebody, but you have a chance to win some cool prizes. So check that out.
Just to give an example of what you could put, just on, I think it was Monday, went to the gas station to fill up my truck, and then to buy a cup of coffee before I went to Silver, and I went in, they didn't have coffee in that fucking place. I was like, God damn it. And then this homeless dude walked in, and he's like, hey, man. He goes, you don't have coffee here? She said, no, sir. You have to go across the street. He's like, all right. Well, of course, I go across the street, go get my coffee, and I seen him walking over. So I just, hey, I'm going to buy him a cup of coffee. He's coming in here for it. So I'll buy him a cup of coffee. And he came in, and she told him right away. I didn't want to be there when she told him, but she took forever.
Yeah.
So I was still there, and she's like, oh, this gentleman bought you a cup of coffee. He's like, hey, I appreciate you, bro. And it's just simple things like that, man. Just a little gesture. And just go on there and tell your story on the Bow Hitches page, and that gets you entered into.
It's so crazy how something like that can just change somebody's day. Yeah. You don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know what's going on. I had something similar happen a couple of months ago. Stopped at the Old Glory for lunch, grabbed my Red Bull and cookie, and went to go pay, and there was somebody in front, and he was fiddling through his wallet and his card, and he has his phone on his ear, and he's talking to somebody and telling him, no, it didn't work. What's the other one's PIN? So I look at the counter, he's got a couple of things on there, so I tell the girl, I'm like, hey, I'm going to pay for this and mine. So she went ahead and ran my card, paid for that stuff, and I'm walking out, and he's like, hey, try this one. They're like, you got you. And she's like, oh, shit. He's like, we're good. Thanks, though. And then hung up the phone, and he was just like super excited. And then he didn't know it was me. He walks outside and he's calling somebody else. He's like, hey, man, somebody just paid for my drinks. It's fucking pretty cool. And it's just like, just change somebody's mood.
Yeah, man.
And it takes, nothing to do it.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Yeah. It doesn't cost anything to be kind.
It doesn't cost anything to be an asshole either, but I think being kind will get you a little further.
It definitely will.
Yeah. Well, that's arguable, but
it doesn't cost anything. But if you charge me, how much am I looking at?
But I'll do something kind for somebody else.
Yeah, and definitely that.
We'll end on a good note there.
Yep. Yeah. All right, talk to you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Link in my bio. Subscribe.